Welcome to the Geek Contingent.
This show is rated for mature audiences only.
Now, your host.
Welcome to the Geek Contingent, your weekly unscripted, unfiltered news and discussion show for all things geek and pop culture. This week we discuss the news and bring you our latest discussion topic, the Battle Royale, Professor X versus Dumbledore. Live tweet is used along using hashtag Geek Contingent. I'm Mark, and joining again this week is Alex. Gavin is on a much earned and needed vacation and will join us again next week, although he will be working his audio magic for the show, so naturally we're going to mess things up a lot for him.
Hello. How dare he take a holiday? Who approved this?
Not me.
How did he get off it?
I think he just went AWOL.
I think he just told us, I won't be here.
I think it was more these things of he's asking for forgiveness, not permission.
Well, as Gibbs would say, it's better to seek forgiveness than ask permission.
Yes, always quoting the Gibbs. But how are you, Alex?
Yeah, other than hot, sweaty and clammy, all good.
In the UK, who isn't these days?
Yes, it is a rarity that we are warm and hot in the UK.
Well, parts, we're kind of cooler up here, even though
Yeah,
we're
you're
Scottish. Yeah, even though we're both Scottish, we need to clarify that you're in England, and I am still up in Scotland.
I'm still in the north of England, although to me as a Scotsman, this is not the north of England, it's the middle of England.
Yes.
Apparently to Englishmen, anything higher than Tottenham Court Road in London is the north.
You're not going to ask
How's
me.
you, Mark?
There we go. Just subtly dropping it. You're meant to ask back. I'm good. Same feeling the heat. Slight little promotion at work for temporary time being. So I'll keep that more under wraps for just now. Until everything's...
Congratulations nonetheless. I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, it means more money. That's all that matters.
Always good. Well, actually, it depends. Does the more money balance out to the more responsibility is the real question.
Do it this way. I'm going to make sure that happens. I will only be doing stuff at my pay grade.
I wish I could pull that one.
One day. Shall we get started then?
Let's get to it.
First up, though, we give you the geek news and headlines from the past week, starting with something that came out the other day from recording, as we record this on a Wednesday prior to release, would be the news about Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, and we're doing this while Gav isn't here, so there is no opportunity for him to go on a rant.
Klingons. There you go, Gav. I covered it.
They aren't right. This is wrong, that is wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so what's happening with Discovery is we finally have a release date, which looks as if it's going to be the 24th, 25th of September, around about then. It will be out a day earlier in the States on CBS at first on the television channel, then moving to All Access, being available this Sunday there. Same with Canada, but for the rest of the world, we will be getting Star Trek Discovery on the Monday, right, so I'm pretty sure it's the 25th, via Netflix. Which is yay for those of us not in the States who have a way to get access to content like this. Boo to friends in the States who potentially have to pay for something extra, but yeah. But the show is going to be split into 2 chapters. The first chapter running, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, is the first 8 episodes, taking us through until the first or second weekend in November when it falls. I think it's around the 7th or the 8th, and then what they're calling chapter 2, taking us from January 2018 onwards. So they are splitting the season.
Do you think this is an attempt to give them more filming time because they're so behind?
I don't think necessarily more filming time. I'm thinking more post-processing time.
Yeah, that's what I kind of mean, just whenever.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But it's a very American... Well, I don't mean this in a bad way, but stereotypically American seasons break
Yeah.
in the middle. For
They
a
do the
period of time.
mid-season breaks for
Which to us
Thanksgiving,
Brits
Christmas.
is annoying.
Oh God, yes.
We hate it. All right, just pack it in.
We're not used to it.
Don't even bother doing a weekly release. Do a Netflix special. Let us binge and be done with it.
Yeah, I don't see them doing that with Trek because they want this people to subscribe per month to it for CBS, but
Yeah, no one wants them to take out a free month, watch it all, and go
yeah.
away.
Although people might do that at the end, but really die-hard fan of a franchise is going to wait potentially 6+ months to watch one of their favourite shows.
Exactly.
But we will need to wait and see. Again, I remain cautiously optimistic about Discovery. They might have reasons behind it. For me, it's not necessarily a bad choice. I would rather that they take time and do things well than push out a half-finished product that is horrible, because there's a lot riding on this for Star Trek to come back to TV.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Mark. As a not massive Trekkie fan, I'll watch the odd episode here and there, and I'll watch one of the films. The more we talk about it, the more I've kind of got into it and really wanted to see it, if you know what I mean. So I've kind of got a bit of excitement about it now, which I wouldn't have previously.
Then we need to do like a here's what you must watch before you watch Discovery.
Now,
Yes.
you find the time in my diary then.
Hey, if we're going to get other people to do a Game of Thrones marathon, and if I'm going to have to do a Doctor Who marathon,
That's fine. You don't need to do Doctor Who marathon. You don't have a spare 2 months to do all the old ones too.
that's true. So moving on, you've got a bit of Star Wars news, Alex.
Yes, Disney and Lucasfilms are quickly looking to replace Phil Lord and Christopher Miller on the Star Wars Han Solo movie.
What happened?
They got the boot.
Do we know why?
They got their P45.
They got canned.
There's rumours about why they got canned, but I haven't been able to find a genuine, honest reason.
Right, what are some of the rumours then? Let's cave
bring
into
up
rumour and
the list of
speculation.
rumours.
Wasn't one of them? I kind of thought they kind of had a big fallout with Kathleen Kennedy, who now basically owns Star Wars.
Okay, here is a formal statement, actually, that I finally found.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, our visions and processes weren't aligned with our partners on the project. We normally aren't fans of the phrase creative differences. But for once, this cliche is true. We really are proud of an amazing and world-class work of our cast and crew. So they're using that old excuse, creative differences. And they're even at least paying homage to how cliche it is to say it, but apparently that is why. So Disney and Lucasfilms, or Lucasfilms owned by Disney, are now desperate to find some new people, some new directors.
I'll throw my hat in the ring now.
What, you want to do it?
Yeah, why not?
I'd do it just for the money. It'd be terrible. Absolutely terrible. No word of a lie. I am a perfectionist. I do suffer OCD to how I like things, but it would still be a terrible.
Let's just be clear here. You are playing down your OCD tendencies right now. You're making them sound very benign.
They're not that bad.
Really?
They're not as bad as they used to be.
Okay, I will give you that. That is true.
There are certain things that have to be a certain way. There are other things that do not matter. My desk at work is one thing that has to be a very certain way. For any of my colleagues who listen, they will be giggling away, and they know of the ruler and they know where the ruler is kept. Yes, I measure the distance between my screens, and then the 2 coasters that sit between my 3 screens, or what are now 2 screens actually. So it's been a bit of a rough week. I had to reorganise my desk and sort all that out. But yes, that's how deep my OCD can go.
Oh jeez. See,
Yeah,
I'm
it's happening at
opposite.
home because I'm at a new desk on a new computer, so it's still working out the best places for it.
Then the ruler will come out.
It's already out.
Oh geez, well let's move on to actually something else that involves creative differences. Remember the Paramount Park we talked about way back in the pilot episodes?
The
Yeah.
British theme park.
Yeah, it's no more. The deal has collapsed because of, funnily
British
enough,
planning permission get in the way.
no, they've not even reached the planning permission state yet. Paramount and the partners who were going to build the park have, as you read it, have had creative differences and they've decided not to pursue the deal anymore. There will still be some park of some descriptive company that are going to be building the park, still plan to put plans in place, funnily enough, in November for some kind of theme park, but what that will be right now remains
Don't really need to detail what the park is going to hold.
Yeah,
I just need to say there'll be a water ride here, there'll be this kind of ride here, a maximum height of this, there'll be that over there. That'll be enough for planners, I suppose.
Because there was at the time there was talks about having a deal with BBC, so we don't know if there's nothing mentioned about that continuing, or
if BBC would be up for a deal. They'd probably just lease out a few of the rights to a few titles as such. Doctor Who for one, maybe Sherlock. I'm trying to think of some other big BBC productions that could be used.
but we don't know what's happening with that because it was only really initially mentioned in the beginning anyway. So watch this space for a new UK Disney style theme park for some kind of IP based property in the near future.
Yeah, I suppose they only really need to have one or two big massive ones that have IP, and the rest can just be standard rides.
Yeah, or something along a loose theming.
Yeah, be one to watch the space off. Good few years away, I say, before we see anything from it.
Yes, but after coming off that slight divergent, you have some more movie news, don't you?
Ah yes, Pitch Perfect 3 production is complete. For any of
Woohoo!
you Glee style fans, and I don't just mean the TV show, I mean the style of music. Anyone looking forward to it, Mark?
No.
Surprises me. You were a massive Glee fan when it was on.
I
and
was,
it's
and
of
I
the
was
same
a-
style. And
I was a Pitch Perfect fan, but I'm just like, I'm bored of these sort of things now. How far do they need to string something out before they realise enough is enough?
I have one franchise I will mention: Fast and Furious.
You know, you took the word right out my mouth. The word
Pitch
right.
Perfect are only on 3. 3 is the magic number. After 3, stop.
Yeah, we'll see.
They won't. But
No, I won't. But we'll
divulging slightly, but still on the theme of Peach Perfect.
Pitch Perfect. Peachy
Sounds like a cobbler.
or a drink.
Of Pitch Perfect. I don't know if anyone in the UK caught the BBC's new production, Pitch Battle.
Oh yes, that I've got that in catch up. I want to watch.
The creative director, or is it musical director? Musical director. I can't remember his name for the life of me. It's the same guy that did Pitch Perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, he even gets little cameos after they perform. He gives his little sound bite, if you like, of how amazing they are, because everyone is amazing.
Was it not the choir guy that was the judges?
He's one of the judges,
Right, so it's not,
along with Khalees. You know, she brings all the milk boys to the.
her
Milkshake.
her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
That's the one. Yeah, it's her. And then first episode they had Will Young. Yeah, nice
Alright.
scene on TV. Really weird choice of outfit, but it kind of suited him. He's
No,
pulling
I
most things off.
when I saw him live, he wore some really strange sort of.
He has a very unusual, eccentric sense of taste, but you know what? Fair play to him. Each to their own.
Yes.
But yeah, it's Pitch Perfect related, so I thought I'd drop that in there. Wasn't a massive fan of the show. It was all right. Just another reality TV show that's filling up the schedule these days, I suppose.
Yeah, it replaces some of the sorrowfully missed
It's
Andrew Lloyd
filled
Webber
the
ones.
void for the BBC of The Voice, because The Voice moved from BBC to ITV, so they had that slot free, so they've come up with this one using their favourite musical person. What's his name from the choirs? What was
Yeah,
his name?
Gareth Malone.
Gareth Malone, yes. Who's surprisingly straight.
Yeah, that still really messes with my head. Like, really messes with my head.
But hey, who gives a crap what way he swings?
Yeah, and I'm kind of missing the Andrew Lloyd Webber shows from BBC.
Oh, no, Andrew Lloyd Webber needs to give up.
No, I missed them. They
I've
were
never been
fun.
a massive Andrew Lloyd
Hey,
Webber
we used to
fan.
text each other during that show.
Yeah, no, but that's got John Barrowman was in it.
No, there was that. There was that. We will avoid John Barrowman stories. That's for another show. That's for a late night show.
Not just a Doctor Who fan, massive John Barrowman fan.
And speaking of being fans of things, American Horror Story has started to ramp up. Yes, because we both love it. Colton Haynes is going to join American Horror Story. I know. Yes. I felt the same way too until he got engaged, and then I'm like, I need to find somebody else. It doesn't stop. Yeah, it doesn't stop me drilling here, but I'm kind of like, my fantasy has gone. But yes, he will be joining American Horror Story for season 7, which, if you've been following it, looks as if it's going to be loosely based around the American election.
I can't even not laugh before you said it.
I know, because you knew it was coming.
I always loved the American Horror writers. They are
Well,
fantastic.
it's funnily enough, it's still in the same Glee thing as it is Ryan Murphy, who made Glee.
Oh yeah, but I love him even more for that. If you know what I mean. I love anyone who can just. Oh yeah, I just words fail me. I now cannot wait for that season.
Does this mean though that if season 7's American Election, does that mean season 8 is Brexit?
I don't think they care enough about Brexit.
Probably not. But yeah, it'd be nice to see a lot of cast seem to be returning for it, but we will probably do a bit more of a rundown closer to.
See, because the original rumours of season 7 were going to be at sea or something, weren't they?
At one point, yes, and then they decided to scrap
they
that.
Finished, or it was online and everything else. This season finished, if you like. The rumours were it was going to be at sea, set in a ship. But
Yes.
obviously, the
Things
election
changed.
happened.
Yes, things in the world happened.
The orange sugar puff
Yes.
became president.
Yes.
So,
And while it might not be on a ship, things are certainly turning to ship worldwide. And speaking of ships, actually, have you seen the new Game of Thrones Season 7 trailer? There were a couple of ships in that.
yeah, quite a lot of ships. Actually, only just watched.
Yeah, because I made you to.
Yeah, I have this thing of Game of Thrones. It's another show I absolutely love, same as Doctor Who. And whenever any new trailers come out, I try to avoid them all because when I watch it, I want to know nothing. I just want to be fresh-eyed and Google-eyed at it all and love it. But thankfully, the trailer didn't give away too much. Beautifully filmed as always. Really nice hints at a couple of things coming in. Beautiful scene there of all the ships sailing into King's Landing.
Yes, so it's war and winter are coming now.
Winter is war.
Winter is hard. Well, it depends on what front. Because it looks as if we're having war from the north, from the sea, and the White Walkers. But, you know, they're going to have to start building it up. It's the penultimate season after all.
Yes, sadly so. For those of you who've read the book, you already know what's going to happen, but it's going to be slightly different.
Yeah, well, isn't now the television show is further ahead than what the books are?
Slightly, yes.
Because I thought like the end of season 7 and season 8 aren't even in the books yet. I don't know where I'm getting that from, but I've definitely read and heard that somewhere. But what interested me most about it though was the end with is it Sansa saying snows fall, white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives.
Of course the pack survives. Dire wolves never go. I have one beside me.
You do. But does that mean, are they dropping hints to the survivors for season 7 and any potential casualties?
It's Game of Thrones though, so they do tend to throw curveballs at us and throw us off the track with some of their trailers, and they go in another direction altogether. Like
Resurrection. But let's move on. We don't want to do too much rumour and speculation about that. Well, they just dropped that today. We'll leave that for the future. Let's go on to another television show, one we both like and I would like to talk more about in the show.
Well, from one queen on a throne to another queen.
Yeah, from one queen on the throne to the queen on the throne. Drag Race finishes up this weekend. It actually will be finished by the time the episode comes out. But what I thought would be interesting to do would be for us to predict winners just now and see how right or wrong we are come Monday. Now, if you've been following what's been happening, I don't know what's happened with Netflix here in the UK, but everything's going to be a week behind. So even though the finale gets put out in the States on Friday, this coming Saturday, is when we'll get the reunion episode, which was last week, and then next weekend we get the finale, which is this week. It's kind of messed up, but we'll put it this way. Fans of the show are going to find a way to watch it anyway.
So the reunion show comes before the final?
Yes, but we won't, in the UK we don't get the final until next week anyway.
Okay, confused, but yeah, fine.
I know, it's messed up.
Little sneaky box.
Put it this way, we're a week behind the States now in ways to officially watch the television show. What do you think, Alex? I know.
What queens have we got left?
Shakily, Trinity Taylor, Sasha Velour, and Peppermint. So what hashtag team would you be?
I'm thinking somewhere between Sasha Velour and Peppermint.
See, because I'm kind of like that. I've got who I would like to win and who I think is going to win.
Who would you like to win?
Like to win Trinity Taylor. She's just been funny. She's been honest. She's been open.
She's been very diverse.
And she's been unapologetically herself. But who I think will win is Sasha.
Sasha definitely brings something new, which is surprising considering, if you know what I mean. It's plateaued, the show.
Yeah, we've had this conversation personally before.
I don't find it nearly as good as it used to be, especially now that it's on VH1, and it's not a critique of VH1. I think it's just coincidental. They are also tailoring it more to a broader audience than just the LGBT audience that has been so loyal with it. It's still very much there for them, but
it's not the niche show that it used to be.
Yes, definitely. And I can understand that completely, and I'm all for the show being way more successful, getting the drag industry into mainstream again where it once was to a level, and more so.
It's just kind of unfortunately been a victim of its own success. To the diehard fans who've been there since, I think, is it season 2 you got me starting watching it?
Probably, yeah, because season 1 is a season that doesn't exist.
Yes, anywhere. You will not find it anywhere because it's grainy as anything.
Yeah, you will find copies now, but not particularly great quality.
Well, considering it wasn't great quality when it began, so we're putting down Sasha as the Geek Contingent winner.
Yeah, although, see, it's a tough one between them from what I've seen. Now, I'm not fully up to date. I haven't seen the most recent couple of episodes. It's been a busy couple of weekends for me, so.
Alright.
But Shea Coulee could pull it out of the bag at the same time.
She could.
Lou's definitely got a soft spot there.
True. I think she has a soft spot for all the girls because well, you've seen that you've not been keeping up. Then it's not a top 3 going into the final. It's a top 4.
Same as last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was top 3.
Top 4, and then no, actually.
Like it's 4 queens in the actual final show, not we cut one just before. Right, they're actually taking all 4 of them in. So yeah.
As to whether that's a new format or just how close the race is, I suppose.
I know it's how close the race is. It wasn't. She was going to. So I'm going to say she. I mean, Drew was going to eliminate.
Still do it the way they used to, and well, it's live this year, isn't it?
No, it's already been recorded.
Live recorded with.
Live recorded. Yeah.
So
well,
do they
live recorded 3 times.
Yeah, I was going to say with each one of them winning and not telling anyone that wins until
technically
afterwards.
4 times. 4 times.
Yeah, but 4 times this time, 3 times previously. So yeah, do you think they must do it that way again? Which is got to be a bit of a head wreck for the contestant, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I win. I don't really know if I've won.
And it'd be even worse if they were a queen from the UK, because they'd find out a week after everybody else did.
I'm pretty sure the internet is going to blow up in some capacity.
Yeah, well. Speaking of internet,
to the Kardashian level of breaking the internet, but it'll blow up.
Yeah. Speaking of something that did break the internet, though. You have.
Oh, I know what you're hinting at.
Yes. See, this is where you start to learn. I am the master of the sweeper.
Yeah, but my subtlety in my brain is at this time of night on a hot day. Yeah, go away. Yeah, something that did break the internet or download wise for iOS and Android devices. Pokemon Go back in the summer last year. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Looks as if they're trying to get our attention back again this summer.
It's like waving. Look at me. Look at me.
Coming to Pokemon Go.
What is a raid battle and why should I care?
Well, I don't care. I just saw it and thought, well, it was a big thing, let's mention it, see what it goes. So a raid battle is a battle where you can team up with other trainers and battle at a gym against a much more powerful Pokemon. As to what the outcome of that battle would be if you and your helper, other coach,
your raid team
trainer, how would it work? Who would take?
Not
obviously the team would take the gym as such, but who's this on the top? I suppose it would be depending on the levels, the Pokemon you battled with, I suppose. That makes a bit more sense. I'm answering my own question.
That you are, but
do
I'm
I
letting you
care?
go with it. No, because
I
I don't
care?
care. That's why I'm letting you go with it, because I don't care.
Hang on, let's find out where Pokemon Go sits in the IOSO charts these days.
It was
'cause I'm pretty
way
sure it's low.
down. It was way under 20 at one point.
Right, okay, I'm into the 30s and I can't see it. I haven't seen
Okay,
it.
no. If you get into the 40s and 50s, I would call it a day. So I would.
Why do I have a feeling I've scrolled past it?
I feel as if I need to go and check just in case. Because knowing you've got in some kind of filter.
Hide the shit.
Yes. Right, top free apps, because it is a free app.
See, I was doing top everything.
No, I did top in the top free charts in the UK. It's sitting at 34, but in top grossing, it's sitting at number 4.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Tinder's
So-
still number 1. Candy Crush number 3. Oh god, we need to do an episode on how bad some apps are.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, Pokemon Go, trying to get your attention again. Will it win? Will it work? Yeah, some people will do it, but on the whole, I think it's flogging a dead horse.
Yes, gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. No.
I think if
And
Pokemon
you-
jump to the Switch, they might get a few more people again, but
Yeah, but it'll be a different game completely.
yeah, exactly.
I think the main series have never sort of dwindled, because they brought out Sun and Moon recently, and at E3 they announced they're bringing out Ultra Sun and Moon later this year, but I think a lot of people are holding off to see what happens with the Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I am. But why don't we finish the news section with a bit of
Real
quirky,
news.
interesting news that you found?
Guardian news. There was a really interesting article in The Guardian I found. The
Do
geeks
tell.
are inherent at birth. Older men have geekier sons, study finds. It's the headline that caught my attention.
Alright. What was it, the older men that grabbed your attention? Or was it the
So
geeky
older-
part?
Mark, you know I go for younger men. 6 years between me and David.
Might want to
If my
edit that
mouse will
part
work,
out.
I'll bring the article back up again, but it's kind of having its own moment here.
We will let the mouse have a moment. So we shall.
Research claims boys born to older fathers score higher on a scientifically devised geek index,
What is the scientifically devised geek index, and how can I get my hands on it?
which takes in non-verbal IQ and social aloofness.
Okay, I don't want to put my hands in that one then.
I'm not aloof, I'm just an arse.
That's what you call it.
So, the findings which emerged from a study of nearly 8,000 British twins. There's 8,000 twins in Britain.
I think there's more than that.
Yeah, no, but it's just when you hear that number, you're like, that's a lot of
Really?
twins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Twins just seem so unusual.
When they say 8,000 twins, do they mean they're counting the twins as 2, or they count them as 1?
Is that 16,000 people, or is it 8,000 sets?
Yes, that's
I
what I
would
mean.
say it's 8,000 sets myself.
Yeah.
But that's a guess. Anyway, suggests that having an older father may benefit children and boost their performance in technical subjects in secondary school. Research in the UK and the US analysed questionnaires from the 7,781 British twins and scored them. Why give me such a vague number of 8,000 and then give me the exact? Stick with one or the other, Guardian. Anyway, sorry, rambling. Scored them according to their non-verbal IQs at age 12, as well as parental reports on how focused and socially aloof they were. Scientists then combined these scores into an overall geek index. See, I don't know how scientific this is at the sounds of it. If it's just some questionnaires at their IQ, like non-verbal IQ age 12, plus...
Yeah, and it's parental
Parent.
stories, so that's...
Is it maybe that older parent or an older father is a little bit more cynical of the aloofness, or maybe is more that kid's a bit weird because he's playing games all the time, whereas a parent in, say, their late 20s, early 30s is of the generation that is gamers, whereas a parent in their 40s and their 50s is not so much.
Don't know.
Interesting nonetheless. But out of curiosity, my dad would be in his 70s now, and I'm in my 30s, early 30s, really early 30s.
Stressing that point.
31, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad would be of an older generation, and I classify myself as quite geeky. I work in IT at quite a technical level. So yeah, no, completely untrue.
Well, let me go for this and see how it appears. Well, my dad is 57. I'm late 20s. Very late 20s.
I'd put your dad in his late 30s or so. Mid to late 30s.
Yeah, and I think they were both 28. 28 when they had me.
Yeah, so yours are the younger.
Yeah. And
Right.
I would say I am quite geeky. Like exceptionally so,
But
because
then you don't have the aloofness that I have.
that can be aloof.
You're more social than I am, though, if you know what I mean.
See, I would never have put that down. I would put out the pair of us. I was the more socially awkward and aloof.
I suppose if you look back in our history, that would be
Yes,
fair,
if you
but
look
we've
back.
all switched.
That we have. That's quite scary. But I don't know about you, but I think out the two of us, I'm the slightly geekier. Mainly because I have started two podcasts and websites and
Yeah,
all
it
of
just
these other
depends
things.
on how you define geek. To me, it's a really strong passion and interest in one particular thing. You could be a cooking geek, you could be a TV geek. You
See,
could be
I've been
up to
saying
food
this for
geek.
I've been saying this for a long time. Even people who are so fanatical about football are football geeks.
Yeah. It's just a different way to describe it, if you know what I mean. If
Yeah.
you're talking geekier, as in its real, true geek, stereotypical old 90s definition of geek, not our
Yeah.
lovely definition that we live in now where geek is cool, if you like,
Yeah.
then I would say I'm potentially a bit more geeky because programming is one of my big interests. I love coding,
I
all
don't
those kind of
I don't
things. You can
understand
lock me in a dark room with a couple of computer screens and some coding and I'd be in heaven. So on that side of geek, I'd say I probably am, yeah.
Yeah, and that one, yeah, I would give you that.
And
I
I'm
think
wondering, The Guardian being The Guardian, that's probably what they're thinking.
True. But I would think in the more modern sense of geek and the pop culture and everything, I would say I would be the more geekier. Not by much, but I just think in terms of
Yeah, no, I would agree with you.
what
You're
I've done.
nerd.
'Cause
You're a
I'm not a
nerd.
nerd.
Why
Nerd
is
is
nerd
the programming.
Why
nerd.
is nerd not cool? when
I don't
geek
know.
is?
Geek's more
Chic.
an appealing sounding word. Yeah. 'Cause it
It
rhymes.
rhymes with chic.
Rhymes with chic. There we go. Right, I think we've done enough rambling for the news for today, or for at least one show. How about you?
Yeah, let's swiftly move on.
Well, this week we bring you the Battle Royale, the Crazy Mad Mental Powers versus the Crazy Mad Magic Powers. We are having a look at Professor X versus Dumbledore, and just to make it clear, we are looking at the movie versions only, because if we went into the books, and more specifically the comic books, we would...
Heaven help us.
Exactly. So, much like last week, I think it's better to bring it down to a round-based system and award points. So, round 1 will be who has the best backstory. Round 2, who has the best powers and abilities. Round 3, as they are both teachers, we will look at their teaching ability. Round 4, who has the best school. And round 5, who has made the either least or worst or best, however we decide the conversation to at the time, questionable decisions.
Can you tell a teacher wrote the rounds?
No. No, not at all. What are you talking about?
Teaching ability in the school we're judging them on.
They're both teachers.
No, they're valid points.
They're both teachers. So, backstory. What do we know about Dumbledore or Professor X?
One is a mutant, the other is a wizard.
There we go. Anything other than that?
One is really, really old with a really big beard. The other is really, really old and has a balding problem.
This is true. So, it's kind of it. You know, it sells it all down. But no, one is one of the world's most powerful mutant telepaths. One is arguably one of the world's most powerful wizards. And where they came from. I would like to talk about, in this one, real world application for who has the most realistic and believable backstory.
Yeah, definitely. Good tack to take.
So,
I think off the bat,
Yeah.
Professor X is more believable.
Yes.
Just from mutation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, just
Like,
from mutation,
Darwinism and the rest of evolution. Mutants are not that far-fetched.
And that his story is his is more based in the real world about how it goes back into civil rights, how it goes back into times of World War II. You know, for me, there's more there. When you look at Dumbledore, it was a very sort of discombobulated life of like parents dying, like how many times are we going to see this? And then his sister ended up unwell, I think mentally, because of a magical accident. And then one day, between himself, his brother, and the Dark Wizard Grindelwald, who apparently Dumbledore was in love with, he killed her. And I'm like, that sounds like an episode of Jeremy Kyle for me.
If only Jeremy Kyle scripts were written as well as that.
True, but it has that sort of air of, I know it's a fantasy book, but even within a fantasy book, I've always thought it's a bit of a stretch in a fantasy.
I think the backstories never really got as much attention as such.
And
they were never really... what's the word I'm looking for here? Padded out?
Fleshed out. I think for Dumbledore, his backstory was fleshed out then for a reason, for Harry to understand why he did everything, and that comes to the questionable decisions later on. But I don't know. I think Dumbledore's backstory, when you got to know his backstory, really changed your opinion of the character, and quite negatively. I'm like that, oh, you actually aren't the loving father figure we've thought this whole time.
But I think that was always J.K. Rowling's intent.
Yes.
Now, I know you said we're looking exclusively at the movies, but she did write the screenplay as well, or have an active role in it, and had creative powers, is why I mention it.
But I think still, if you kind of balance them off of each other, I think for me personally, anything that we got to know about Professor X, good or bad, enhanced him as a character. But the stuff we started finding out about Dumbledore detracted.
Do you think it's also the way that those backstories were presented to us? With Professor X, we were always kind of trickle-fed it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was built up over time.
Movie or over a sequence of movies, there was little snippet backs, whereas, as you were saying with Dumbledore, we didn't really know his backstory until almost the very end. We knew little tiny snippets that just kind of explained some relationships, but not really his backstory until towards the end. And it was a very sudden this, that. And
it hit you like a brick.
Exactly. And I think that was intentionally done. I don't think it's a hindsight or anything else or a mistake.
No, it's intentionally done, right?
But do you think that's why the backstory is a little bit harder to swallow and believe, and also really changes your opinion of it? You're not really getting a chance to process it.
It's totally intentional. It did its job, but I think in terms of what we're looking for, I would give the point to Professor X.
Agreed.
Alright. So, powers and abilities. The power of the mind, and to be able to telepathically connect with anyone, or the ability and supreme magical ability of Dumbledore.
See, now this one boils down to a couple of tacks. With telepathy, with Mark, say the word.
Telepathic.
With telepathic and the ability to read minds and enter other people's minds.
And control them.
Yeah, it pretty much gives you the power to do almost anything.
But does it give you the power to see...
You can't make a person fly, can you? If that person can't already fly, you can't do that.
Not with that particular psychic power, no. If you were telekinetic, no. Yeah, if you had telekinesis, you could. But it's just telepathic.
That's what I mean. So with his power, he can control people, he can make them do things they can already do at his will.
Yes.
And
he can unlock their memories, he can guide them through, he can shut off part of their minds, which we're coming to later.
If you then bring Dumbledore into the question, you then have a wizard who can make you
do
fly,
whatever the fuck he wants.
Can control you, can kill you with the flick of a switch. So
can say Accio car keys when he can't find them, because I would have loved to have had that power this morning.
So on the brief premise of it,
Dumbledore gets the
Dumbledore.
power.
But
yeah.
it's the ability to have someone else do it and make it completely not look like yourself outweigh the just waving a wand and doing it.
But you can do that as well. There's is it the Imperious Curse?
Yes,
Where you can control other people.
Yes.
So Dumbledore gets the best of both worlds. I
Yeah,
think if
so
I had to
Dumbledore
choose
has all
between
the
the
powers
two,
of
Professor X,
Professor
just in a
X.
different way.
through using the Imperious Curse.
So Dumbledore gets the points.
But hang on,
Okay.
Professor X has mind powers and can mind control a wizard.
They're two
No, crossover moment.
mutually exclusive.
If there was a genuine
Universes.
wizard in Professor X's reality,
There is a level of magic in the X-Men universes, but
but
not.
do you see what I mean? Just looking at the powers,
There is.
you could then say, well, he can control that, so they're on par.
No.
No, they're not. They're not. They're not.
No, they're not. Because then they're not his powers.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're trying to go for, but no, you get smacked down in that one. Right, round 3, their teaching ability. How good they are as teachers, and I have so much to say in this.
You would.
I would. But I'll let you go first before I go all ranty.
So, on this, I don't know. If you're talking teaching as in teaching a class.
Oh, I mean like teaching a class and teaching life skills. I mean
Yeah.
like
But
the
if we
knowledge
look at
they've
just the
imparted
class for
upon
a
their
moment,
charges.
if we break it down into sections and look at just the class scenario just now, I can't think of Dumbledore ever really being in that kind of position.
No, he was at one point.
He was at one point, but never in a sort of sequence or scene
Yeah,
that
never
we've seen.
never
There's
something
maybe
we were brought
flashbacks.
towards. Everything that was really brought to our attention.
Yeah, whereas with Professor X, there are plenty of scenes where he's seen with a small group or a small class. Now,
Yeah.
with his school, it was a very small class, if you know what I mean. It wasn't a massive
Mhm.
school. So you could easily say that was a class. So in classroom teaching, I
We've
would
at least seen him do that.
see Professor X.
Yes.
In life skills teaching, I think the tough love of Dumbledore
No, I would totally disagree.
could potentially be more.
There's a case for tough love and there's a case for abandonment.
Yeah.
Because what he did to Harry is he put them in all these situations and he really didn't give a rat's ass about him in the end.
It's for the greater good.
It was for the greater good, and as a teacher, no. At some points, Harry Potter
Sacrifice the
was
lamb for
the
the sake of the
sacrificial
many.
lamb. It's okay, Cam it's Spock. But no, in terms of teaching ability, Professor X, and he was a teacher. He wanted the best for his students.
Well, he is Professor.
Yes, so he's also Professor Dumbledore.
Yeah, but he's Professor X. He's just
Yes.
Dumbledore.
No, it's Professor Dumbledore.
I know, I
It's
just
the
mean it-
title. I know. But I think in terms of what they were doing and their intentions behind their teaching, I would give it to Professor X. Put it this way, what teacher would you rather have?
Both.
Let's boil it down to that then. After discussion, we will give the point to
I'm
the...
a cold, heartless bitch, so Dumbledore appeals to me.
And I would rather have Professor X. So we do this one as a 0.5. Give them each a half point.
No, because I still agree with Professor X is an overall better teacher.
Okay, so you're doing that. We're giving Professor X the points. Alright. Round 4. The school that they have. This is Hogwarts versus the Xavier Institute in upstate New York. What one do we like best? What one would we like to attend ourselves?
Hogwarts.
I wouldn't. I would die. They don't have end of year exams. They have end of year tragedies. They have end of year massacres. They have end of year slaughters.
Yeah, only if you're looking at the main ones.
Well, yeah. No, as the books went on, even the
Yeah.
little supplementary characters, even the ones who were mentioned once or twice, it was a bloodbath.
Yeah, but that didn't happen every year. It only happened when Harry arrived.
It escalated though. And there were things at Hogwarts from before. I mean, come on, you're dealing with stuff that can kill you. There's plants out there. If you had to pull a
On a
plant...
point, though, Hogwarts still stood at the end How many times did
How
Xavier's
many
school
times
blow up and have to disappear?
Twice, 3 times they've had to rebuild it.
Hogwarts didn't really have to do that.
But they had magical barriers. And
So?
also, they did not have a jet underneath the basketball court.
No, but they had floating boats and flying boats.
No, they didn't. The boats did not fly. The boats were just normal floaty boats.
But they could do. They had trains.
We have trains as well.
Not trains that just disappear.
No, the trains.
They had flying
disappear.
cars.
They had flying cars, yeah. But they had flying jets.
Hogwarts potentially could have had floating boats, but
Could have
they
if they
felt
wanted
that was
to.
too much of the Frenchy French thing.
No, I would.
They had dragons.
They did have dragons, but Professor X
Willow.
could have other mutants who
And
have
it's
cool
set in
powers.
Scotland, so that's reason enough for it to win.
I think it's maybe because I want to change.
Upstate New York, Highlands of Scotland, way prettier.
Upstate New York sun.
Meh, sun's overrated.
Sun, jets under the basketball court that pop up, full state that training rooms, cool uniforms.
Don't know about cool
Get to-
uniforms.
Well, other than we're not. I kind of like the black leather, none of the spandexy stuff. But cool uniforms, a chance to join a cool. No, shut up. And the chance to join a cool team and go and save the world rather than rely on one boy. I think, for me, the Xavier Institute has not only more chances for survival, but more chances to do well in life.
Yeah, but if you can make it through Hogwarts, you can make it through anything.
That's right. Right, we're going to have to agree to disagree in this one. So we will give each one a 0.5. So at the end of round 4, Professor X is at 2.5 and Dumbledore is at 1.5.
Oh, come on, Dumby.
Dumby. Yeah, that is how I've shortened it into the show notes, because I couldn't be bothered typing Dumbledore again, because I kept typing it Dumbledore, D-O-O-R, not D-O-R-E, and the spell check kept correcting me, so I just meant Dumby. So, round 5, questionable decisions that they've had, and I think we've slightly touched on some of them. Harry being the sacrificial lamb, not being told everything about his past, but Professor X does have his own, because in X-Men 3 The Last Stand, even though we don't really talk about that movie too much, it turns out he blocked off part of Jean Grey's mind to and depends what continuity you want to take this in. In the movies, it was her personality and her powers that manifested as the Phoenix Force that became unleashed. We saw a little bit of it at the end of X2 when it went to protect her, and in X3 in her marvelous resurrection. And if you could see me right now, I'm doing air quotes because we know how that movie was, and by that I mean shite. So he has his own questionable decisions as well. Anything you want to add, Alex?
This one just seems like a dead cert. I can't really think of any major sort of horrible decisions Professor X had to face and kind of
Dumbledore made the worst questionable decisions.
Just go, oh really, bitch. Whereas Dumbledore was understandably put in a lot of those scenarios where he did have to be a DICK and put Harry up for slaughter. I mean,
there'd be ways round about it.
but he wasn't powerful enough.
He was powerful enough to take down Voldemort himself. He could have saved the poor boy a lot of hassle and just went after him. He was. You're trying to say it like at the end of the movie, he's like, 11, 12-year-old boy was more powerful than Dumbledore, Headmaster of Hogwarts, Order of Merlin, First Class, and it was. I mean, eventually, like, Voldemort did have to kill Harry to get rid of the Horcrux. But that could have happened and Dumbledore could have resurrected him and went on to defeat Voldemort himself.
Yeah.
You know, the man can clap his hands above his head and have a phoenix appear and he can disappear.
That's what I mean. I can't think of any real on par situations Professor X has had. Yes, you mentioned the green blood. Yes, you mentioned the Jean Grey blocking out partial sections of her mind, but other than that, I can't really think of any massive ones.
Blah blah blah. So we will give Professor X the point then for the least questionable decisions, and So that means if you have been keeping score, Professor Dumbledore, or Dumby as we were calling him affectionately, comes out with 1.5 points and Professor X comes out with 3.5. Now, you don't need to agree with our decisions, but however, you can comment on them. And as we head over to our closing section, we will let you know exactly how you can get in touch to do that. Well, this wraps up the Geek Contingent for this week.
Remember, there's lots of ways to get in touch. Send us a tweet to @GeekContingent. Drop us a like and comment on Facebook at facebook.com/GeekContingent.
He's getting better at this, folks, no longer forward stroking. You can also email us to incoming@thegeekcontingent.com, or why not head over... Let's try that one again, shall we, folks? You can email us also, incoming@thegeekcontingent.com, or why not head over to our website and comment on the post for this show, thegeekcontingent.com/EO2.
Thanks to our engineer Gavin, our team piece. Trying that one again,
It's
that's
infectious.
called Karma.
It's infectious.
Thanks to our audio engineer Gavin and our TeamSpeak assistant Orange for their skills in putting the recorded and live shows together.
Mostly though, we want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us again this week. Make sure you comment on our social media outlets and wherever you can find the Geek Contingent to get featured on next week's show.
And until then, see you next week. Oh, screwed up our exit.
The one line.
And I came up with it.
Just do it.
And I came up with it.
I know.
Oh.
It's even worse.
See you next week. And until then, keep it geek.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Geek Contingent. Tune in again next week for more news, reviews, and opinions on all things geek.